The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. We have very active lifestyles. It's not all wandering the countryside aimlessly or scaring passing motorists. And we all love a good cup of joe. And there's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. Bold, robust, delicious. It's coffee that can wake the dead. With over a dozen different roasts and flavors, Deadly Grounds can satisfy the most finicky of coffee addicts. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Fix it, and they said yes, you can fix it, and I fixed it, so everything will be back to normal. It's just I missed 2 weeks, but I'm still going to get a regular unemployment.
Yeah, they'll do a retroactive, and we are now live on the Dorkening. I want to thank you all for joining us this evening. We're going to try to get your mind off everything and talk about some dorky stuff. With us today, we have Senor James.
Senor. Oh, por qué?
Yo.
Hey, everybody. I have no witty lines for the moment. Just give me a little bit.
Okay. Patrick.
I have a cat.
You do?
Meow, meow, meow.
That's Bobby.
Are you the Tiger King?
Excited. Yes. I'm super excited to be here. The only thing is I don't have multiple husbands and very little meth.
Yep. And Carol's
Why are you here?
Carol's a bitch. Steven.
Hello, everyone.
So one of the things we said we would talk about, we're not all the way, I know James and I aren't all the way through it yet. Tiger King. If you want to get your mind out of everything, like we started watching it and like I totally forgot that we were like in the apocalypse. Like it
was the funniest thing because Jen started watching. She goes, literally goes like, I have to watch this to understand all the memes going on on like social media. So we sat down and watched the first episode. We both looked at each other and we were like, what the hell are we watching? And it's like a car accident. You can't look away and you want to know more. But there's a point where there's a couple points where we have to go to bed. Like we just want to watch it all. It's crazy.
It's crazy good.
Yeah, I think we kind of described it. Ash and I on Shark Bites this week. We discussed it and we talked about it's kind of like if you're eating a very rich meal, like we couldn't watch all of it at once. We had to watch it in like segments. Like we watched 1 or 2 episodes. So it took us 4 or 5 days to get through all of it. because it's like eating a really rich meal, and it's like, if I have any more of this, I'm going to be sick. But I'm like right at that point where I'm not gonna throw up, but any more of this, and I absolutely will.
So you don't want to hear there's gonna be like another episode?
Oh no, I heard about that.
Well, it's like
I'll watch it. It's been a week since I've eaten.
It's like making a murderer. You know, they made the first series, and then, you know, because that was so popular, it got the ball rolling for you know, the lawsuits and everything. So they were able to make a second season. So hopefully that does this for this. Hopefully we'll find out if Carol actually murdered her husband or not.
I want to find out why so many people aren't in jail.
Yeah.
Oh, just wait. You guys are only a few episodes in. Just wait.
Okay.
Well, it was funny, like, and, you know, so you start doing this, and you start, like, watching more, and, you know, you're on your phone, researching and stuff. It's like the guy, Doc, in South Carolina being like, dude, that's like a straight-up cult. That's a straight-up cult. And he's like, no, they can come and go as they want. It's free. I'm like, that's what all the cult leaders say. They can come and go as they want. No one's keeping them here. Like, I said, I was like, this is bonkers. This is crazy.
Oh, and when
and then of course the guy is like I didn't say that's misrepresentation. They edited the documentary to say that kind of stuff, and I'm like, no, because they had the girl who worked there like basically say like, yeah, that's all true. It actually happened.
Oh, when it showed him going through like the expired meat for food, like all the workers.
The doc guy, the guy in South Carolina,
the guy with all the wives.
Oh yeah, They're all called
the expired meat pizza.
Yeah.
I will say some of the cast, like the people in here, are like, it's like the second casting sheet for Deliverance. It's like they could have been cast in Deliverance. It's just the guy with the teeth, Harold Baskins. They could have been.
His teeth are fixed, by the way. He's got perfect teeth now.
Yeah.
Carol fucking Baskins.
What happens when your meth dealer is in jail? Just, like,
I will say this though. Going through this show, like there's always in everything. There's always like, well, at least I can root for this one. But there's nobody, with the exception of Eric, the zookeeper, the guy who wears the aviators all the time with the long blonde hair.
Yep.
And Saf, who the one who had the unfortunate accident. I don't know if you guys have gotten to that part yet.
Sorry.
Oh, the one, yeah, with no arm.
Yeah, he
or she.
He. They don't address it in the show.
Okay.
But he is transgender and prefers male pronouns. He prefers to go by Saf, even though they refer to him as Kelsey. It's one of those things that they don't really address in the show, that people are kind of like, including him, are like, I wish they would have kind of gone through this a little bit more and really
call me by my name, you know.
Yeah. So he, you know, his accident, and so Saf and Eric are really the only two you can root for. Everyone else is just like the worst.
Yeah.
Just so bad.
Well, was the girl who like got her arm amputated and was like, I just like, cut it off. I wanted to save some money. I'm like,
that's who we're talking about. That's Saf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought I love. He's like, someone's arm got ripped off. Like, I'll refund your money, give you a rate check, and they're all sitting there be like, what? And you're like, I'm out.
Yeah, and you know, yeah, it's like you said, it's an utter train wreck. We weren't gonna watch it, but you know, just hearing so many people talk about it, we figured we'd give it a try. I mean, we're caught up on everything. We finished Ozark, which you guys need to watch. Oh my God, Ozark is so good.
Well, I think with the whole Tiger King thing, there were so many people that with so many different tastes and different fandoms and different, like, you know, preferences for shows, It's like, oh, I don't like sci-fi, I don't like horror, I don't like comedy, I don't like drama, but everyone got sucked into this.
Yeah.
So
Everybody likes watching a train wreck.
Yeah, it's almost like it has universal appeal, and with so many people saying, this is some weird shit, like this is, and it's like people from like the horror community or like, the really like on the edge, like I like watching like really demented stuff. These type of people that are like, this is weird and like this is crazy, like you need to check it out. When those folks are really like enthralled by something, that's when you're like, okay, I have to see what this is all about.
Well,
It's almost like if you took an actual zoo, but then had like Guillermo del Toro, Martin Scorsese, and Quentin Tarantino just like spit out a bunch of characters. Like, we're not giving you any context, but each of you come up with a character.
Based on someone you saw in Jerry Springer.
Not just like like, all right, Tarantino, give us a meth addicted like country musician, gay polygamist who runs for president. Like, that's what we want. And like, he'd give you Joe Exotic. Like,
well, it's
absolutely, Doc Antle is a Scorsese character.
Well, it's like that game. You type in Florida man, and whatever the first thing pops up. That's what the whole cast is Florida person. It's just like everybody is just a fucked up life. It's just.
But that's what they say. It's like, where do they find these people? Rural Oklahoma. Oh, okay. Also there's the most normal one. I would say the most normal one is Carol, and she's the one from Florida. Like, you would expect Joe to be the Floridian.
Wait a second, Carol's the most normal one?
When it comes to
being a crazy animal person?
Like, she doesn't have a cult following. I mean, she sort of does.
Yeah,
I mean, you have real cult Doc Antle, and then you have whatever the hell Joe Exotic was doing.
First of all, can I just address one thing I was surprised at? It only cost $2,000 for a tiger.
Yeah, that.
I think when me and Jen saw that, we looked at each other being like, there are puppies for sale that are like $3,500, and you're telling me I could have had a tiger for $2,000?
Well, tiger in the long run is going to cost you a lot more because they weigh like 400 pounds and they're going to eat a lot more. Not everyone's Walmart hookup.
That's why Siegfried and Roy have been in business for a long time.
Will Yates says Doc Antle used to be a king at Richard's Fair.
So he used to be at King Richard's Fair.
Oh, be at.
Letters help you, Leo. Read, not have enough coffee.
Yeah, they do. So I mean, I'm sure all of us have heard of stories about weird cat people. I know growing up in Montville, my parents.
Cat people? What? Hi.
Well, I mean, so like growing up, my parents used to tell me that they had a story that in the woods near us, there used to be a guy that had animals like lions and tigers and stuff like that. And
oh my!
What's that? Yeah. And apparently some got loose, and that was the story for the area. And there was one day where coming home from work, and I saw a panther, and my dad said I was full of shit until one night he saw it. Yes.
No, nothing.
Oh.
I made a joke.
my mind automatically went to Simpsons.
Yeah.
Financial Panther.
Oh. Well, anyway, it was a dark. It was like a dark mountain lion, That's what.
Panthers, lions, cougars are all the same thing. It's just different names.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on what part of the world you're in.
Yeah, but I mean,
it could be a jackal. Is it a jackal? Is it a jackal? Jackal. Jackal.
It wasn't right the first time. Where the hell would it be right the last 10?
Tom Moore says, "Happy Wednesday, everybody." Hey, Tom. I mean, this is the hills in Connecticut, so we're not really known for There's been mountain lion sightings in Connecticut, but it was crazy. But
I've had coyotes run through my parking lot.
yeah.
Fish or cats?
James, what's up, James?
Oh, when Family Guy used to be funny.
Well, it kind of reminds me. There was a time Ashes and I. It's not quite the same, but Ashes and I were walking through Boston, and there was a big whole bunch of pigeons on the ground, and all of a sudden, like they got spooked, and they all like flew up at us, and I was like, "Whoa, duck!" And she goes, "No, those are pigeons." I'm like, "Sorry, evade."
No, it's one of those things, and I was talking to Jen about this, and but the coronavirus, and the one thing that keeps coming to my mind is a Simpsons episode, and I think Patrick will get it like right away.
I know what you're talking about.
After all this is done, there's going to be a tax, and we're like, "Oh, we need to be prepared for this next time," and there's probably gonna be like a little tax that's gonna be associated. And when people see where this tax is going to go, they're going to come back and be like, "You know what? Why are we paying this tax? All this stuff." And it reminds me of the bear episode from The Simpsons, the bear tax. And it's just like that's exactly
the bear tax. I pay the Homer tax.
Homer tax.
It's literally, what was it, like $5 or something like that?
Yeah. Well, you could make the Bear Patrol's doing its job. That's specious reasoning. Thanks, honey. No, Dad. No. What I mean is, you just because you don't see any bears doesn't mean it's working. Like, by that logic, I can tell you that this rock keeps tigers away. How does it work? It doesn't. But do you see any tigers? I would like to buy your rock. I thought you were going to talk about the episode where the guy in they actually had an episode where there was a flu that came over from China.
Oh, with the juicer.
Yes.
It wasn't China. It was Japan.
Oh, it was Japan.
Osaka flu.
Yes, that's what it was. I haven't seen that in a while. I just remember the cloud of germs going down the street and stopping it.
He's fucking trying to take a shot at it.
Well, no, it was that, like I said, that one was the one I remember, but it's still it's the bear. Cause I feel like that's what's going to happen. Is everyone's going to be like, okay, we need the government's like, okay, we want to make sure we have money set aside for this ever happens again. Make sure we have plenty of supplies, and there'll be a new tax across the board. And once people realize there's a new tax, they're gonna be like, I didn't agree to this. Why am I like that whole like things like why wouldn't someone think of the children type of like mentality, like, and that's all I can think about is like that. Like I think it's going to be like that. Like again, I mean the Bear Patrol's doing the job.
Let the Bears pay the bear tax. I pay the Homer tax. That's the home owner tax. This is the biggest tax hike in history. Actually, it's the smallest tax hike in history.
Simpsons, you were so way ahead of your time.
Oh yes.
So, you guys watching anything else to clear your heads?
I've gone a deep dive in, and this will be part of like old Disney movies from like the 90s.
I love how that's old.
But like I started like watching like Father of the Bride on Plex and like some like older like 90s movies, and it was kind of like even like 20 years ago, like just how movies have changed. But I rewatched The Rocketeer.
Oh.
And I forgot how awesome that movie is, and I really wish there was a true sequel to that, because I feel like that could have been done like so many other things. So
that reminds me of The Simpsons as well, because they find that video or the newsreel of all the German propaganda with all the Rocketeer guys flying through the sky, and it makes me think of when they went to Itchy and Scratchy Land, and talking about Roger Meyer and the film he made, Nazi Supermen Are Our Superiors. It always makes me think of the Rocketeer.
Yeah, no, I watched that. I watched. I started watching a Goofy movie because that came out 25 years ago this week, So kind of stuff like that. I mean, Disney Plus. I think I started watching Brave again.
Brave was such a good one.
I haven't seen it yet.
I watched Dale and Tucker versus Evil, which is one of my favorite horror movies.
Love that movie
of all time, and it was
really
on
good.
Netflix today. Cause I literally at my new job, I'm doing nothing. He just jumped straight into the woods. I hope they don't charge you. But like I started watching that, and it was like on my list on Netflix, and I was like, I forgot how good this movie was, how funny it is. Like Alan Tudyk is fantastic.
Alan Tudyk is national fucking treasure.
And the only reason, to be honest, I discovered that movie is the guy who's in it is also in Reaper, which I think is an unbelievably underrated television show. It was on the CW or whatever it was.
Yeah, it only lasted, what, half a season?
2 seasons.
2 seasons.
And Kevin Smith directed the pilot.
Yeah.
Like Sam Wise is the devil. No, is it Sam? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really good show.
That was really funny, very smart. It kind of was a nice tale of like the devil and like the Reaper, and like it had like guest star after like Patton Oswalt was in it. A lot of like
the main guy, I forgot his name. He's on not Good Doctor. What's the other doctor show on right now?
The Resident?
No.
Amsterdam?
New Amsterdam.
ER?
Yeah, New Amsterdam.
ER.
Yeah.
But like, and the girl in that is also in like the FBI, and so like it's actually like a really funny show. You can find it. I think it's on like abc.com, or there's on one of the networks, and it's on like both seasons. It's really, really funny, and that's a show that I'll go back and rewatch every once in a while. Which it's that like Warehouse 13, or Eureka, and Psych, and they're doing a big Psych marathon right now in USA. So.
William Pace says, I'm watching Barney Miller and Starsky and Hutch on Roku. Tom Morris Jr., I'm watching Riff Tracks Live till Disney Plus turns back on. Also, Plex. If you sign up for Plex, they have a bunch of classic stuff. I started watching like the old Beverly Hillbillies and Alf on it, and it's I think it's free.
God, George.
I was on a bit of a retro tear myself.
What? I find that hard to believe.
Really? Steve on a retro throwback review thing job? What?
Well, I've been watching on a thing called Tubi before it gets bought out by Fox. They have a bunch of old reality shows, and
Tubi, which is then bought up by Fox, which is owned by Disney, which is owned by the world.
Exactly. So I'm trying to enjoy that as much as I can before all the good stuff goes away. I used to love all the old reality shows that VH1 had, like Rock of Love and Scream Queens. So I was trying to rewatch all those, and I did. Well,
it won't go away. It'll probably be absolved into Hulu because they own that as well.
For VH1, I would love for them to do like a run of like the I Love the 80s.
Yes. I still have a couple of those on VHS that I recorded.
Yeah, like I Love the 80s, I Love the 80s, the 90s,
70s.
I think for 70s is like that one decade that's like too. Like I was in '86, it's a little like too far outside of my like knowledge. Like 80s, 90s. I know they did like the 2000s, which were really funny too, because I think one of the set guys was like, that was like 2 years ago. Like, why are we talking about it?
Has anybody watched Onward yet?
I have.
No.
Oh, that's awesome. I loved it.
It was so good.
The gelatinous cube. I kept saying they're gonna keep talking about it. Like this thing better show up. Like
that was the gelatinous cube. If you're gonna introduce it, you have to have it. Yeah, I thought it was great.
I'm waiting for.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just. I was gonna say I was waiting for Black Widow to come out, but then I realized it gets pushed to November. So.
Yeah, see that no one cares about that movie.
Yes, we do, James. What was that?
I said no one cares about that movie. They should just put it on Disney Plus and been over with it. But they got to make their $1 billion and show that they are a progressive company, and they're putting, they just Wonder Woman's going to be out and Black Widow's going to be an afterthought. Like, just I hope they're like aware of that. And now you're going to bury the Eternals, and you're going to bury another movie like somewhere.
They're all pushed. They all got pushed. Like
I haven't heard anything about what happened with New Mutants.
I think that's coming to Disney Plus. That movie is cursed.
Yeah.
That movie is like the embodiment of like the new Poltergeist or the new Exorcist.
Yeah.
That movie is cursed. If I'm Disney, I'm putting it on a rocket and shooting it in the sun.
Well, no, not before I see it. Not before I see it. I've been waiting for this thing.
Yep.
I will have to rent a rocket and go up there and retrieve it.
Even the Sony movies got pushed. Even Ghostbusters got pushed next year.
Yeah, don't remind me. That I'm so pissed about that.
The only movie that I'm looking forward this year, like the one that I'm anticipating more than anything, already got pushed before all this happened. So I'm hoping that we should be seeing a trailer in the next week or so. Godzilla vs. Kong. It's the only movie I care about this year.
Well, they already leaked the toys.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm very interested in who the exoskeleton on Godzilla. Like, what is that?
So about theaters and stuff like that, is this the end of like AMC?
That's what I've been hearing.
I hope not, because I loved AMC A-List.
Like they're the only ones I've heard that they're in trouble. Like, I haven't heard anything about Regal. I haven't heard anything about like Cinemark or any like the other one. Like, it's only been AMC. Like, were they hemorrhaging that much money?
I really hope Regal doesn't go under, because I have their unlimited plan, and I've been using that unlimited plan a lot.
But like that's the thing though. I'm sitting there and I'm reading the article about like how like AMC is no liquidity, and I'm like, what? Like, how do you guys have no, like, we know you're not paying your employees. Like, let's just start there. I bet you like half the places where you don't own a
Did they do any buybacks recently? Are they publicly traded? Did they do any like stock buybacks?
I didn't see anything like that. That's what I mean. Like, they're saying like they're done. I mean, the theater market is going to take a hit regardless, because I think that's going to be the hardest thing to come back, is going to be the movie theaters.
Especially the smaller ones.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's going to be the opposite. I think the smaller ones will be easier because they're going to have better crowd control.
Definitely.
I think it's going to be the bigger ones.
You're still going to be in, well...
No, but if they want to practice social distancing, you have 20 theaters compared to 2. It's easier to control those crowds.
Correct.
Well, you can definitely limit seat purchases. So, like the theaters that are set up where you have to pre-buy your seats, I could see them easily saying, okay, there has to be at least 2 seats between like every couple, or
at that point, they're probably just going to redo the theaters and maybe just make it more of an experience.
Well, that's what AMC was doing before they shut down the theaters. They were doing...
Yeah, but how are they paying for that? That's my question.
No, they were just,
obviously
they wouldn't let everyone have a spot. They would only sell certain seats. Like, they were blocking off certain seats for specific shows.
I just think, I mean, it just shows me how fickle that industry is. But at the same time, I'm sitting there being like, guys, I understand that you guys don't get the full take of the ticket, the box office. Everybody knows that the majority of it goes back to the studios. I get it. That's why concessions are so high, because that's where the theaters make their money. But are you telling me that a chain that big with that many screens is literally going to be like, we're not coming back? Like, I'm sorry. Like, if I'm an investor, I'm sitting there being like, what did you guys have in your portfolio? Because any other company has they have like diversified. And also, you don't think the studios would be like, here's money to the theater so they can stay open to keep their stuff out there? Like, or do you think like a Disney or a Netflix would come up and buy a share of the theater?
Yeah.
I mean, you might see Disney theaters or Netflix theaters.
Yeah.
That'd be a great vehicle for Netflix to screen their in like original stuff.
Especially
I
like
know
the
Netflix bought a theater in Los Angeles. They bought like off theater so they can show their movies so they can be Oscar contenders.
Yeah, but to be honest,
like
are you really? I mean, after all this is done, are you? People are going to be more cautious going to the theaters. Obviously, with it's going to be a long time coming before you're going to the theater for just any movie. So I think really you're only going to go for like major blockbusters, like Ghostbusters.
Yes
20.
and no.
Yes
I
and
say
no.
yes and no on that. You know why?
Why?
Because people are stupid.
Nope, Aurora. What happened after Aurora happened? People still went to the theaters.
Yeah, but that's slightly different than.
But they ended midnight screenings, though.
No, I mean, I've still gone to midnight screenings. They just put earlier screenings in the day. Aurora, I remember when Aurora happened. I remember because I had to bury my grandmother on the day after Aurora happened, and I remember that morning going to pick up be with my family to go before we went to funeral home and stuff like that. They were watching it, and I literally walked in the living room and turned off the TV and I said, "There's enough death in our family today. I can't worry about Colorado." I remember going to see Batman that night and my buddy was like, "Hey, I don't feel comfortable going." I'm like, "I'm going. Like, I'm going to see it tonight regardless." And this wasn't even the midnight showing. This was the day after. I was like, I'm going to see this movie because I'm going to take my brain off of what's going on in the world and what's going on in my family. And I remember people like, "Oh, the movie theater is never going to be the same. It's going to be like metal detectors and all this stuff." And it was like weird for like 6 months. And then it was back to theaters as usual.
Yeah.
Yes, there might be I still think the theaters are going to be the last things to reopen when the economy gets up and running. But I think it's still going to be an engine moving forward.
Well, yeah.
And if AMC folds their tent up before seeing what the outcome is going to be, because I still believe, and I was talking to Jen about this, is when stuff reopens, there will be a delay of people going out and interacting with that stuff. But then there's when everybody's kind of like it calms down and dies down like the flu does. It's going to be like a mad rush to do stuff because people have been cooped up for 2 or 3 months.
Well, we also have to be careful because until there's a vaccine, we're going to get spikes of corona of COVID-19 again. So even when everything is sort of like back to normal, I think hopefully not everybody rushes out. It's I don't know. It's a tough.
Seen people.
I think you're gonna see a lot more people going to play because it's gonna be June, July, August. You're gonna see a lot of people flocking to like beaches and theme parks and things like that.
Yeah,
like that's just my thought about it. I don't know if that's what's gonna happen, but
my theory, it's probably gonna wind up being like Spanish flu. Like what we're going through right now is the first spike, and then let's say this ends like mid-June, July. Everyone, like Patrick says, goes to beaches, theme parks, and goes back to their original lives. Then August, September, it hits again, and we all have to go back into our houses and for like 2 to 3 months, and then rinse and repeat.
Well, Spanish flu also, I think
this is also going to be, they said, like a seasonal thing. This will never go away. It's going to be the new flu, just like the Spanish flu that happened. But in I think it's funny that you brought up the 1918 influenza outbreak pandemic that was 100 years ago, which I think was 101, 102 years ago. Mm-hmm. And they even said that was like different and terrible, and but like they literally had sewage in the streets. Like the conditions were a lot worse. That's why that number was a lot higher.
Well, it also went on for 4 years. Yeah,
it wasn't just a 2-year thing. And I'm not saying that this is going to be it's going to be done in May or June, July. But again, the best way to fight this stuff is that herd mentality. It's the same thing you do with measles and mumps. Eventually you're going to have to interact with people. You're going to have to get it, and you're going to have to fight it and get those antibodies. That's why in New York, they're pushing the antibody test here to get people back out there, and you got to you got to restart the economy. No one can. You can't do this for forever. It sucks. But I just feel like you need to. You need to restart eventually. You can't just sit idly by.
We could actually get people to stay home and stop going out in large groups.
Yeah.
Like, we probably would have been over this already.
Well, I know New York is hitting. They've already plateaued. We've plateaued.
Oh, I thought you guys were.
our-
I thought you guys were plateauing like in the next day or so.
No, the last like 4 or 5 days, our numbers have steadied and some stuff has gone down. Like our hospitalization's gone down, our intubation's gone down. The other side of that is our death's gone up because of the length of time people have been in the hospital. But we've we've hit a plateau in New York, so the curve has flattened a little bit.
The one thing scary about New York, though, is I read that a lot of the deaths at home, which are COVID related, are not being counted. So the death.
You only can count which is to the hospital system.
Yeah.
But they said that it's the same thing as like the positive results. Yeah, the positive results keep getting higher because there's more testing.
Yeah.
There could be thousands upon thousands of people who already had it, went through it with a cold or like a flu-like symptoms, and they're over it and they've moved on. Like it's happened.
Yeah.
It's just they might have not thought that's what it was.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like those people who have the antibodies need to kind of get back into society and start that herd mentality of the more people who have the antibodies will then help protect
The herd immunity that you're
herd immunity that will help protect those people. It's the reason why mumps and stuff like that. I know there's a vaccine for that. It's the same theory. So
Yeah, I think you have to wait until there's actually a vaccine because
Antibodies and a vaccine are two different things.
yeah, but the way that this has been spreading is a lot of people who like, oh, I tested positive, but so I'm asymptomatic, so everyone else should stay home because I feel fine. So I'm going to go out and live my life and do what I want. And we've seen these people making the Facebook Live and the Instagram videos, going out and touching things and licking things. Like, yeah, I have it. I'm a carrier. Doctor told me to stay home. I'm not.
Well,
and that's
even the people going out and purposely like coughing on other people, and it's just...
that's what I'm saying. Like people who are carriers, even though they feel fine, aren't quarantining themselves, and it's spreading this elsewhere. The people who have the antibodies are very few and far between. So and it also doesn't help. Like, oh, I'm going to go out and I'm going to make sure I have my glove and my mask because I want to make sure that I'm protecting
don't
myself.
change your mask, your glove after you touch every single thing. You're not doing anything.
Well, also when you take your gloves and it's like, well, I'm done with these. Let me just throw them on the ground in the parking lot. That doesn't help either.
It doesn't help the ecosystem either.
Well, I mean, the sad thing about this is we're gonna lose a lot of people, and a lot of those may be not on the smarter side. It's a lot of people that are being assholes.
Well, I mean, I saw a great thing that said the virus doesn't care if you think it's deadly or not. The virus doesn't care if you believe that it exists or not.
Exactly.
I love seeing these headlines where it's like, this religious figurehead says, oh, COVID-19 is a punishment for homosexuals, and then like they end up with it like a week later.
Yeah.
It's fake.
Or I don't know if you guys saw what Michael Bean on Facebook, the guy who was in Aliens and Terminator, but he did his that Terminator's out there, can't be bargained with, can't be reasoned with. Well, he did this virus is out there, can't be bargained. He just switched lines up with the virus, so
that's pretty cool.
Well, the one thing that I love too, and I keep going back to, is from Men in Black. A person is smart.
Yep.
People are dumb.
Yep.
Like
dumb, panicky animals.
Yeah.
We can, as a group, talk about this, and you watch the news and you read the articles, and you're just like, oh, I get what's going on. But you put it in a group of people, they become the intelligence in the room just.
Yeah,
like, it's like,
well, look at the churches down in Florida. You know, it's.
Oh, that lady who said, "Did you see the video for that lady?"
I saw the video of the pastor that said he was blowing away the virus.
Oh no, there was a lady being like, "I'm not going to get it because I have the blood of Jesus."
Oh, yeah. I saw. Yeah, they got a bubble.
Oh yeah,
Jesus,
Google
the bubble.
It's the best. Oh, she literally goes, they're like, why are you doing this? Like, well, I'm not going to get it because I've been bathed in Jesus' blood, and Jesus' blood is going to protect me. And they're like, well, what about other people out there? They're like, what, you mean all my church people that have just left? They're all bathed in Jesus' blood too. And they're like, no, what about going to like Walmart and grocery store and stuff like that? I'm like, that's not my problem. You know, I have Jesus' blood on me. Like, I'm protected. I'm protected from whatever.
70 cases popped up in that church.
Oh, it's the funniest thing because they're just so like, it blows my mind away when it's like, guys, like, we're not asking. I know it's a tough thing to do. Please stay home.
Yeah.
Like, that's all we're asking. Like, go to the grocery store, go get gas. Please stay home if you can. And if you can't, keep your trips minor and you have to go to work, protect yourself. Like, come on. Like,
I haven't gotten gas in 3 weeks, and it's down to like $1.95 now.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I think we filled our car for the first time in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's just, like, guys, it's like, come on, please just. I know it's hard. Just use the brain. Like, you use the little frontal cortex here and just do some problem solving and being like, yeah, it sucks, but Amazon's still delivering. There's still food in the grocery stores. There's still gas at the gas stations.
You just can't find toilet paper.
I found toilet paper the other day, and I had some people eyeing me when I was waiting for the train to go home.
Yeah.
I was like, I am really about to get jumped for some goddamn toilet paper, aren't I?
Like, stay at home and listen to podcasts, especially all the podcasts on the network.
There we go.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
But no, like, I go to there's a Target like 2 minutes away from us, and like you go there, and it's like the road. Like, I went through the day, I'm like, oh, there's tons of toilet paper, there's tons of paper towels, like tissues, and I'm like, oh, this is like, okay, cool, like this is how it should be. And it's like, it was funny because like they even said, like, even if everything kind of gets back up to speed, it's still gonna look like that for a while because you still have to stock the shelves.
Yeah.
You know, you still gotta keep doing that.
I know I tried ordering, because I'm not going out, I tried ordering some from Amazon, and they want like $22 for like 10 rolls of like generic
and
shit.
It'll be delivered in June.
Yeah.
My brother.
Why you gotta save your CVS receipts, man?
Yeah.
Basically.
My brother
man,
works at Staples, and they've canceled some of his orders.
I was smart, and I got 2 giant things of napkins as like a fallback thing.
Oh, I have boxes, boxes.
Your toilet's gonna hate you then.
Have you seen some of the town public water places? They've shown pictures of their system and all the clogged system, and they've been pulling out the paper towels and the wipes, and they're pleading with people in the town not to flush wipes and paper towels and other
They've been pleading that for years about the butt wipes, like the moist butt wipes.
If you are working from home, there is no excuse not to waffle stomp. You just hop in the shower. You hop in the shower, let it rip, just smush it down the drain. Wear sandals if you need to. There's 3 things you do. Okay, so there's the waffle stomp. You can eat the toilet paper, so on the way out it wipes you, so you're not hungry. And if you really want to be efficient, use both sides of the toilet paper.
Well, and that's the joke Jen said. If you have 2-ply, you have 2 rolls both into one. Just take it apart.
And use both sides.
Oh, see, I didn't think about that. I did not think about that, Ash.
Use
At
both
this
sides.
point, I just can't wait for bidets. Because bidets are going to come to the U.S. after this.
Oh, yeah, bidet. Don't mind if I bidet.
Well, I remember there was a run on
Amazon. And a broken chair.
I remember there was a run on bidets on like Amazon. It was like a top product for a little while because people kept buying them quickly to replace the toilet paper. I'm like, I'm not too. It goes to the Simpsons episode when they go to Tokyo.
Yep. Yeah, use a bidet. So I went to this place up in the White Mountains. It's called Adventure Suites. And the room that we were in, there was like 20 of us. The room that we were in had this super high-tech toilet that when like you walk in, like the lid lifts up and like you can warm the seat. There's all these different buttons. And there is a bidet button, and I pressed it, and I was waiting for it to stop. It doesn't stop until you tell it to stop. And it was one of the weirdest things. Because I'm sitting there, I'm like, this has to be over at some point. And it's like, nope, not till you are ready.
And it's warm water too. It kind of feels a little like I remember when I first used the bidet. I was like, all right, let's try this out. I was like, oh, okay, all right. I'm like, ooh, it's warm. Like it's kind of like it's a point where I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling, man. I don't know if I could do this on a daily basis, but yeah, hashtag waffle stomps.
Oh my
God. That's the way to go.
Hashtag bidet love.
Holy crap! This got derailed.
Bidet? You got really bidet?
It got bidet, yeah.
Every bidet I'm hustling.
Will Yates says I'm jonesing for a Comic-Con. You know, I've been saying this on every con.
Coming around for a while.
They need to have a. We just talked about this on the last episode with Toking DEAD. There needs to be a virtual Comic-Con.
There was one recently, a horror con.
Yeah.
Where people were doing it was similar to this, doing live Q&A. Matthew McConaughey just hosted bingo for some seniors on Zoom.
I have to say, the stuff that's been going on with like the celebrities is fantastic. It's been like some of the funniest stuff to watch, especially some of like the late night shows. Like I've been really like on point.
Like Colbert and like Seth Meyers and John Oliver doing it in their house.
Oh my God, it's so good. And then, but like I said, some of the celebrities doing stuff like with like interacting with fans, like more personal and stuff like that. I just think it's been like really cool.
Yeah, it's more real. John Oliver took a little bit to get used to because normally he has live audience and laughing with it.
Oh, his humor is different without a live audience.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
It's a little.
Myers too.
Yeah.
You mean you need people around to tell you when to laugh?
No, but it's a different atmosphere. It's dry humor.
He's like, this is a joke I would not have told in a room full of people. It's like, this is a joke I can tell now, but I wouldn't tell if we were live with a room full of people.
The one I really enjoy is when Patrick Stewart reads Shakespeare quotes.
Oh
the
yeah,
Patrick Stewart sonnets. Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to have a Picard episode.
We can do one. Let's do one. Like,
we
can do like a one-off.
Yeah, we'll do
a one-off.
We'll do a one-off. Talk about the season.
I have to finish watching it, so.
I got like 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left of the last episode.
Oh, it's really good.
You just saving that?
Yep.
They just really needs that hit.
Yeah. I know I mentioned Ozark. Did anybody else watch it? No.
I think you're the only person in the network who watches Ozark.
No, that's not true. Phil does.
Yeah.
Phil watches like everything. I've come to realize.
Phil loves Ozark.
Ozark is so good. This last season is a slow burn, but like the last like 20 seconds. You think No. I mean, everything's building up, and it's
20 seconds of the year.
Well, I mean, it's 10 episodes, and the episodes
20 seconds of good stuff.
No. The whole
7 minutes an episode.
No,
20 seconds of it is fantastic.
Okay, all of it was good, but it was like the way they were building up the show.
27 seconds was fantastic.
You think something's gonna happen, and you think the series is going in one direction, and then everything ends. Not ends, but everything like goes in a totally different direction.
Did M. Night Shyamalan come on as like, what a twist?
No. But somebody gets off that you didn't think somebody was gonna get off, and it was like,
Jason Bateman. No.
I just want to throw this out there, and I don't know if you guys, James, you'll appreciate this, but Ashes made me a cake the other day, and let's see if I can. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
So it's the knockoff Bart, where instead of eat my shorts, he says eat pant.
Yeah.
And I used to say that all the time at work. So she made me that cake. And so I posted it in a Simpsons group today. And, I'm not one who cares about this stuff usually, but it's got like 1,100 reactions.
Oh, nice.
Just from this morning.
Did Al Jean respond to it yet?
Oh, that would be great. I should post that on Twitter. But yeah, there's like just people just like quoting Simpsons, like it's not Patrick's birthday, and like other people have shared like stuff that they've done. Like it's actually generated a lot of.
FXX didn't randomly just start a Simpsons marathon.
Well, it's all on Disney. Like that might be my next binge is go through the. I've been going through Futurama. I'm almost done with Futurama, but
So
James, if you haven't joined this group, I should invite you to. It's called Bort Posting.
Oh, yes.
It's amazing.
Oh,
it's
God.
People just make all these crazy memes, and they're really well done. And like they'll use like there's a lot of Tiger King stuff, like whatever happens to be topical. Like when Chernobyl came out, like they did the Milhouse going through the mattresses saying it smells funny in there, and Homer going, no, it doesn't. And they did with Chernobyl. It was like there's graphite on the roof. No, there isn't. Like they did a whole series of those. Like it's
the goggles. They do nothing.
Well, I don't know if you've watched Chernobyl, but if you haven't, you really should.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. It's so good. It's the most depressing thing you can watch on HBO. Like
probably
realistically right now, other than The Outsider is really good too and really creepy.
The Outsider is good. Well, they did one of the memes they did was they combined the steel mill with the miners that were walking around naked. Oh, it was
stuff coming through.
Hold on, let me see if I can invite you to that group because I think you would absolutely appreciate it. Oh, there's this invite right there.
Chris says South by Southwest, the film festival is online and people are pissed.
Well, they're pissed because they canceled it and they didn't refund their money.
Yeah.
That would upset people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
like money.
I'm waiting for San Diego Comic-Con to be canceled.
Yeah, they say it's still going on, but
same thing with Dragon Con. They said Dragon Con's still going on.
We will let the first 12 people into Hall H.
I thought they said Hall H is like all homeless people now.
Well,
like the halls, not Hall H specifically, but the different halls.
That's what the H stands for.
Homeless.
Homelessness.
Habitat for Huge Manatees. That's a deep cut Simpsons reference. It was the episode where they fight the baboons on the train. One of the signs said Habitat for Huge Manatees.
Oh my God, it's one of the best things. Well, isn't it the one? Oh, it's where she becomes a listen lady, right? Like that's the episode.
Yeah.
Marge, I haven't seen.
The gas is $1.99 and 0.8. Donnie's discount gas.
Well, next month it'll all be restored to its original format on Disney.
Nice.
Like that's why I'm holding off watching it because I wanted to the real joke.
I still watch random episodes here and there. Like if there's something topical that's going on, like I was like, oh, this is just like the Simpsons episode when, and then we'll watch it.
The one episode that I watch over and over and over again, and I laugh hysterically every single time, is the Cape Fear episode.
Oh, so good. I was wondering if you could sing the entire score of the HMS Pinafore. Oh no, Dad's been drugged. No, he hasn't.
Hey, Bob, would you like to take a look at the cake?
I'm not. I want to give you a brownie I want to cut you a brownie while they're still warm.
One thing I grabbed this week.
Murder Lake.
Terror Lake.
Terror Lake. Damn, that's what it was. Wasn't there like a town with murder in it though? What?
There was New Horrorfield, Screamville, and Terror Lake. Homer's like, ooh, Ice Creamville. No, Screamville.
I think he's talking to you. And I hit your foot.
What were you saying, Leo? What'd you
No,
pick
I
up?
was just gonna say another thing to binge. I found the Looney Tunes Merry Melodies High Quality Project. It's 1,000 episodes,
Oh, my.
They're all Mel Blanc.
starting with.
Are these all the Looney Tunes episodes?
It's not all of them, but it is all the ones that are digitally available.
Tell me
A
where
1,000
to find
isn't enough
this.
for you, Steven?
Huh?
I said 1,000 isn't enough for you?
No. I've been looking, and I don't want to pay for Boomerang, so I need to know where I can find this.
Okay, we'll talk after the show.
Okay.
Somewhere on the internet.
The internet.
Section where Leo lives.
Yes, the dark web.
Last night I
Dark
watched
is the dark web.
Never Surrender, the Galaxy Quest documentary.
Oh,
That
looks
was good, but I kind of thought it was going to be a little bit better.
I've found some things interesting about it that I didn't know about.
I didn't know Hal Ramis was supposed to direct that.
Me, same. I didn't know either.
I am correct. I believe a buddy of mine worked on that.
Like, I remember watching it, and I kind of was like, okay. Like, and they started talking about it, and I was like, I kind of was waiting for, like, the next beat of the story, and it kind of never really, like, they kind of said the movie came out, and then they kind of ended, like, they didn't really talk about, like, the fan. I thought they were going to have more of, like, the fan, like, what happened, how it became a cult movie and all that stuff, and it kind of really, like, never, like, went and, like, hinted at it, but never kind of took that next step.
I like how they got their fan perspective, though.
I'm all for those type of, like, movie documentaries. I'm all about the fan perspective. Like, and that's I enjoyed it. Like, I like hearing, like, Brent Spiner and, like, Will Wheaton be like, this is a Star Trek episode. Like, why didn't we do this first? Like, that was one of my favorite jokes. And, like, Brent Spiner was like he showed the Patrick, and it was like, why didn't we do this? Like, they're all like, why didn't we think of doing this? And, like, all the stuff about Alan Rickman was, like, really, like, heart-wrenching. Like, that killed me. I'm like, oh, it's like,
Yeah.
why? Like, but, like, they were ready to go with, like, an Amazon series, and Alan Rickman passed away, and they were like, we're not doing it now. And I was like, come on. Like, you could have done it.
Yes, a buddy of mine, local filmmaker Kyle Kukta, was the first assistant director on that movie, Never Surrender. He also has a film that I highly recommend on that he co-directed with Bill Fulkerson. It's on Amazon. It's called Survival of the Film Freaks, and I 1,000,000% recommend it. I own it on Blu-ray. I own it on VHS. I own the bootleg cut that they put together for Rock and Shock. It's so good. It's all about, like, old cult films and, like, how they became popular. Like Vasectomy the movie, and they have, like, Joe Bob Briggs and Adam Green and Lloyd Kaufman and, like, all these awesome people that have worked on all these different cult films throughout the years, and I 1,000,000% recommend it. So check that one out.
Nice. Well, we are coming up on the hour. Anything else we wanted to discuss?
How about that sexy PlayStation 5 controller?
Oh,
I like it.
yes.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh. That gives me so much positive, like, energy that the PlayStation 5 is not going to look like that weird little dev kit they sent out.
The V.
Yeah, the spot
I
for
kinda
a
want it
pizza
as,
slice.
Like, I kind of want it as, like, the PS4, but, like just like a rectangle, like looks like the old PlayStation 1 or, like, the PlayStation 2. Like, they've all really been kind of, like, rectangular except for the PlayStation 3. Like, keep that going, so it will be like the vertical brick versus, like, the horizontal brick, And it's like you play Tetris with like your system going forward.
Yeah, that's kind of what I have situated now. I would like to see that. I like that controller. A lot of people are like, oh, it looks like an Xbox. It's like, so what? Like, I don't understand this. You can only have one or the other. Like, you can only have Xbox or only PC or only PlayStation. Like,
well, I mean, money wise.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just like the people.
That'd
like,
be the limitation.
No, I'm talking about the hardcore gamers that are like, oh, PS4 is so stupid. Oh, only Xbox is good. I'd never play PlayStation. It's like, why? Like, there are enough.
Sega does what Nintendo don't.
That's true. No, there were enough games. Like, when I had the opportunity and I was like, okay, I'm either going to get an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4. And for me, it just came down to, I prefer the Uncharted games to Halo. I like Halo. I've played a whole lot of them. I really enjoy it. I would play them again. I'd replay them absolutely. But I preferred the Uncharted games. I really, really liked those. But for most of these games, like, you get them on every system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Speaking of random games.
What's that?
Gears 5, if you get it from Steam or from the Windows Store, it's free until Sunday.
Really?
Oh, that's good to know. I might have to get that.
There's a bunch of games on sale on the PlayStation Store right now. I just picked up Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah, you've been raving about that one.
Yeah, that game is so good.
I'm waiting for Command and Conquer Remastered to come out in June.
Yeah, because it's a thing Limited Run Games is doing right now. Like, they're pushing that.
I have not yet picked up Resident Evil 3, although I really want to. I was going to do it last week for my birthday, but I just didn't yet. Yeah, NBA 2K20, $20. Death Stranding is $30. I'm looking at the website now.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 11 is $23.99.
Now, some of them you need to look at like bundles, like Assassin's Creed Odyssey isn't on sale, but the bundle that it is on sale. You can get like the gold edition for like $23.
Oof. The Batman Arkham collection is $17.99.
Yes.
That's really good. Like, that's add to cart.
Ace Combat is also, it's like $17, the latest Ace Combat. I was thinking about
bad.
No.
Also, all the old PlayStation games like Star Wars Racer Revenge, Bounty Hunter, and Jedi Starfighter are all $10 each. Those are in my... Like, I'm looking at my
Those are in my cart now.
Add to cart. Add to cart.
Subtitle $89.96. Discount $42. I love when they do their sales. I picked up back in December, like mid to late December. They had like a holiday sale, and I picked up The Witcher 3 Complete Edition, so all the DLC. Spider-Man with all the DLC, Red Dead Redemption with all the DLC, NHL 19 with all the stuff, and there was one other, I forget what it is now, but I think all told, like all these games with all the DLC, all like everything. Oh, Resident Evil 2, all the DLC, everything. For those 5 games, I think it cost me like $110.
Oh wow.
And some of these like editions, like the Red Dead 2 was like $109 by itself, like before the sale. So like these sales are legit sales.
Yeah.
Like the Batman thing, like that's 4 games for $18, and those are $60 games each, and it's all the DLC too because they've been out for a while. Okay, let me just make sure, because I want to make sure I'm not just saying that. What is the Arkham collection?
You meant
it's only good until the 15th.
You mentioned Witcher 3. There was a report I read that said that because of Netflix, more what was it? There were more sales of Witcher 3 on PC than all console games for 2019.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
I still haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I played it for a couple minutes. I need to give it a try.
I also couldn't really, like, I watched some of the show, but I kind of, my interest waned after a while. I was just like, meh.
The show's good.
And I haven't gone back.
You should give it another chance. It's pretty good.
I should.
Yeah. Well, we'll wrap things up. I want to thank you all for joining us this evening. Hopefully we got your mind off of the craziness. And
she loves to stretch.
Yeah. That was one thing I was going to mention. Jaws in 4K is coming out later this year in August.
45th anniversary.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah.
I am aware. I will own it.
Yeah.
Like whatever special edition comes out, like, yeah.
Somebody made a comment though that the artwork that they released from it is actually from Jaws 3.
That I was like Lou Gossett Jr. on the orca or something.
No, it's the way the shark is, the teeth on the shark and the way it's grasping the letters.
Oh yeah, because it doesn't grasp the letters in the original. It's at the top.
Yep. Yeah. So, but I mean 4K, and it comes with a special booklet and stuff, so it's going to be awesome. Steven, where do you like people following you?
You can follow Super Retro Throwback Reviews on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We also launched a Patreon yesterday, and we launched Coffee yesterday. You can find our podcast, Super Retro Throwback Reviews, the audio files, on all major podcasts and distributors, and on the Dorkening Podcast Network. And our second show, CSI The Vegas Files, on all major podcasts and distributors and the Dorkening Podcast Network.
Patrick.
The easiest place where everything is consolidated is throwdownthursdaypodcast.com. We have our 200th episode coming up in 2 weeks.
Woohoo!
That means for nearly 4 years, we have put out an episode a week. Nothing has stopped us. We're actually recording our episode on Samwise Gamgee tonight. That'll drop tomorrow because Ash has just watched The Lord of the Rings for the first time, and I just watched the extended versions for the first time this past weekend. So yeah, that has all of our social media, our latest episodes, some articles and stuff that I've written. There's an article that's going to be going up about my choices for all the different Lantern Corps rings, 5 choices each with a brief description why. I think folks will like that. There's also going to be a book review. We were sent an advanced copy of a book that I can't even mention at the time, but we were sent an advanced copy of a book, so I'm very excited to do a review for that. There's always movie reviews. You can also catch the latest episode of Shark Bites. You can also catch our sales on our TeePublic store, because everything is on sale right now at teepublic.com. So if anybody is looking for a shirt for the Dorkening, or for Super Retro, or for any of the shows on the network, go there. The shirts are like $14 right now, normally like 20. I picked up 3 for some of my friends' podcasts today. And also I have Bobby, and Bobby would like it if you went and got some stuff, because she is furry and likes to sleep a lot, but she also likes to eat food. So if you go and buy our shirts, we get $2 every time you buy one of the shirts from Teespring, and yeah, then I can use it to buy her some snacks, and she loves that.
Awesome. Yo.
Find me at Boy Meets Phone on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Yo St. Laurent on those same social media channels, and you can typically find me here. Yeah, pretty much it. James?
You can find us, my show, the Jen and James Podcast Experience, at Jen James Podcast, and it's GEN, at JEN. Should be my little lower third below here. So check us out. We're actually recording our 4th episode tomorrow, where we went down the rabbit hole of retro commercials from the 80s and 90s. So we watched a bunch of those stuff. So check that out. We'll be discussing that. That episode should drop sometime on Saturday. We're recording in the next couple of days. As well as you can find me here at the Dorkening, when the Dorkening podcast, as well as much other shows that I wasn't on. But again, follow us at Jen James Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Also on Facebook, the Jen James Podcast Experience. And all our podcasts are, again, like Steve said, Apple, Google, Spotify, Pandora, thedorkening.com, all that stuff. And then once Leo does my graphic, we'll have stuff to sell too. I'm just waiting on the boss man to finish that logo for me. So, Leo?
Yeah, I'll get that to you. I promise. I got Photoshop open. We'll do it right now if you got a minute. But head on over to thedorkening.com for all the shows on the network. And for me, just Google Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. I'm not gonna say which is which, but follow these awesome people here. I put a ton of links in the show notes down below or up above, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. So everybody here, you can easily find them, and we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Wash your hands.